All right, everybody, welcome to week 7. So last week we developed the rough draft of the essay, and we maybe started looking at our peers and taking a look at how their essay is kind of sized up to our own, comparing what everyone else has written compared to what you've written. So that's definitely something you want to do as well. I guess last week you also started looking at how to improve paragraph development through that video. So hopefully that helped. For this week, your new goal is now to go back to that Writing Project 2 rough draft assignment discussion board and look and see what everybody else has kind of posted, because by now there should be essays on there. And so go back in there, read someone's essay, and provide them with 5 pieces of constructive criticism, and that is 5 suggestions on things that they can change within their essay. Just simply saying good job or well done, that's not good enough. It can be good job, but I think you should improve on this, or I would change this, or I would move this around, or this is misspelled, or whatever. But just find them 5 pieces, 5 suggestions on things that they can change about their essay. And that'll be part of the rough draft grade, so make sure that you at least find 5 things for one person. You can find more than that if you'd like. But if you're struggling and maybe if you can't find 5 things, take a look at the peer review guidelines, because these are what I use to grade the essays in the first place. So if you can find something in here that maybe the author needs to work on, that might give you somewhere to go whenever you're giving them their suggestions. Aside from that is also the rubric. This is the rubric that I use to grade. You've probably seen it before because we've already been through Writing Project 1. And so it should look familiar. And look through here, and if you find something in here, basically just kind of look at it, see where you would grade that person. If you're just going to grade them in an 8, well, what could they do to get a 10? If they're getting like a 6 or a 4, there's kind of a significant issue with something that they're doing. So what can they do to improve that? Basically, if you tell them something, if you tell them anything, tell them what they can change, because just telling them that it's good or it's bad or whatever, that's not really appropriate, and especially if you're just telling them good job, that's not even really constructive. That's just praise. It's like giving them a high five and saying be on your way. That doesn't really help them to make a better essay. However, telling them your introduction your thesis isn't really clear. I can't really figure out from your introduction what your thesis statement's supposed to be. So maybe you could emphasize that a little more. That gives them a very specific piece of their essay to work on, and to find out what they can, to kind of reflect on it and discover what they can do to make it better or to make it more clear to the reader. And so that's what's really nice about doing the peer reviews, is that you are legitimate readers. You are the standard person who will be reading their essay, just kind of picking up the magazine, so to speak, and looking at what they have. Now, once you come back to this is due by the 5th, the peer review. So make sure you provide 5 pieces of constructive criticism to at least one other peer by October 5th, midnight on October 5th. On October 6th, when you wake up in the morning, like Christmas, just go downstairs, get on the computer, see what everybody else left you online. Once you see what other people have put for your essay, what suggestions they made for you to change, pick out which ones you actually want to make. You're not bound by contract to make all of the suggestions that people make. I mean, sometimes people make bad suggestions, so be aware of that. If you don't like a suggestion, don't do it. But figure out whichever suggestions you're going to take and whatever changes you're going to make to your essay, make those changes, and then turn the final draft in, that changed version, turn that in by the 9th of October. Again, this is the 19th, so I'm a little ahead, but turn that in by the 9th at midnight. So again, that's really all we're doing. This week, too, is just kind of finishing up that essay. Last week we did the rough draft. Your goal this week is to provide some feedback to your peers and then see what feedback they leave you, and then make those changes and submit the changed version, or the final draft as we call it, to this assignment block. If you have any questions this week, again, be sure to contact me via email, text, or phone call, and I'll get back in touch with you and hopefully help you out. And if you need anything at all, don't hesitate to ask. Have a good week.